Alaska, our 49th state, 665,000 square miles. It's 1/5 the size of the lower 48 states and bigger than Texas, California, and Montana combined. I've been in love with Alaska since I was a little kid. I'm Robbi Mikas. I'm a climber, I'm a parent, I'm a firefighter, outdoor education specialist, and a search and rescue professional. I also happen to be a proud trans woman.
When did your love for Alaska begin?
When I was a kid in Brooklyn, I used to cut out magazine pictures of mountains and forests and hang them on my wall. I've had a crush on Alaska for more than 40 years. After graduating college in 1996, I got a job with the U.S. Forest Service working in Southeast Alaska. I was there for 6 months and fell more in love with the land than ever before. I wanted to stay. There was one problem. I was trans. Nobody knew, but I knew. When I lived there, I was secretly cross-dressing and going out on an island of about 400 people, mostly loggers, fishermen, and miners. It was just a matter of time before I got my ass kicked. So I went back to New York to continue my deviant ways. In 2008, I went back to Alaska to climb the Moose's Tooth with my partner Jung Taek Yoon. It was a successful trip, and I immediately knew I wanted to come back. Other than the 3 big mountains, Denali, Bogoya, and Sultana, climbing in the Alaska Range is characterized by technical peaks with an unlimited amount of potential.
Why did you want to go to the Ruth Gorge?
It's the style I like, the kind of climbing that needs a wide variety of skill sets, set on approachable sized peaks, and with relative ease of access via ski planes. So that was it. We were going to the Ruth Gorge in April. This massive gorge I saw in 2008 from the Moose's Tooth had been haunting my dreams for many years.
How did you pick your partner?
Finding a suitable partner for a very specific kind of alpinism can be difficult. There just aren't a lot of people who think living on a windswept glacier for 3 weeks sounds like a good time. I also knew that I wanted some representation in the mountains. I wanted it to be an all-trans team. I found the perfect oddball who thought this idea sounded cool in Sara. This is the story of our climbing and skiing trip. So, Sara showed up from Rhode Island.
Well, you thought I'd be waiting up when you came home last night.
We're gonna make a disaster in my kitchen. Sara, are you excited? The plan of driving all of our gear to Talkeetna with Sara in her Sprinter van did not work out. Sara was rejected at the Canadian border. They do not want her in their country. So don't come home with lovin'. Okay, so packing for mountaineering trip. Done this a few times. The ski bag is right here. You never take me anywhere because you're always gone. And many a night. This is going to be my pee bottle on the glacier. I stuffed that with my, well, there's no pee in there yet. My boots, I've stuffed with gloves, underwear, so socks. Stuff all my boots with that stuff and fill those voids, right? And hopefully, trial and error, I get all this stuff in 2 bags. I'm not taking the Lego kit, the Castle Lego kit. I'm not taking that. And there you go. There is the result of my packing. Everything I needed in my climbing pack. I've got the Bill Schneider pack, my North Face duffel, and ski bag. Boop, there it is. This is my Alaska kit. This whole schlemiel weighs 117 pounds. So right now I'm underweight, but I haven't bought any food yet, so clearly gonna be overweight. So don't come home drinking with lovin' on your mind. It is 2:30 in the morning, and clock says 40 degrees. I doubt that, but anyway, my friend Melissa is here. Hi, Melissa, and we are headed to the Albany airport, and I am going to Alaska. Melissa's going rock climbing in the Gunks. Yay! Bags are checked through security, and I'm heading into my gate. It is 4:45 on Saturday morning, heading to Alaska. Some of you may be wondering what the logistics are like for organizing a trip into the Alaska range. So I figured I'd go over that really quick. I feel like shit. I am recovering from a rescue mission that we had last night. The first step, obviously, is you have to get to Alaska, Anchorage, more specifically. That's where you're probably going to want to pick up your supplies, any food that you want on the glacier. You'll have to pick up fuel. You can fly with food, but it's just going to add to the weight on the plane. Things that you can't get, like specific items that you might not be able to find that you want to bring with you. But the bulk of the food that you're going to bring, you can buy in Anchorage. So we spent 1 day in Anchorage. We rented a car, got a motel room for the night, and the next step is getting from Anchorage to Talkeetna. So there are more than a few companies that offer shuttle services for climbers and sightseers. There are a couple that specialize just in transporting climbers. They know what climbers need. We got a round trip sort of package from Anchorage to Talkeetna and back for around $300 each. That's including all of our gear. When you get to Talkeetna, you have to choose a flight service to fly into the Alaska range on a ski plane. And there's a few out there. A lot of climbers use Talkeetna Air Taxi. That's what I've used before. They have the benefit of having a climber's bunkhouse when you're stuck in Talkeetna, either coming or going, you can stay in their bunkhouse for free. It is a climber's bunkhouse. It's pretty low scale. So when you get to Talkeetna, you need to check in with Talkeetna Air Taxi. You get all of your gear weighed in and packed for the plane. You have to pack things. Each bag can only weigh a certain amount. It's very difficult to be underweight. I was 117 pounds without food, without fuel, and then you pay $2 per pound if you're overweight. If you're bringing in alcohol, I suggest whiskey, the most bang for the weight. You have to pack certain items separately from other items. You get that all weighed in, and you get all your bags labeled, and they make a manifest, and then they put you on the flight schedule. You also have to check in with the National Park Service. You have to pay your park entrance fee, which I think is $10. If you're climbing Denali, you have to pay a climbing fee of, I think it's $125. You pick up your Clean Mountain Can. Clean Mountain Can is the way to capture human waste. It's pretty effective, actually. You're pretty used to using it. Once you dig a nice hole for a latrine in the snow so you're out of the wind, you're basically sitting on a toilet. So you have to pee before you poop. This was my first trip after bottom surgery. It's the first time I've had to deal with that. So avoiding bladder and then sitting down to poop and trying to avoid getting pee inside the Clean Mountain Can. Yeah, it was a challenge for me to get used to. And once you're all weighed in and checked in with the Park Service, then you get on the flight schedule. And if you're lucky, you can fly that day. But the weather also has to cooperate with you. If the weather is not cooperating, then you get to hang out in Talkeetna, the town that is known for a drinking town with a climbing problem. And once you're on the glacier, then you pick a spot and set up camp, and then you're there, and you can go climbing or skiing or both. Just went to Walmart and got groceries. I'm not sure if I got enough. Got 2 bins, lots of things, pots and pans. We'll see if it's enough. We have to go out tomorrow and get all the fresh food. But yeah, in Alaska. Packing up. Shuttle bus is coming. We're in our 5-star hotel. What'd you think of the hotel, Sarah?
There's probably worse places in Anchorage, but you'd have to look.
So check this out, folks. This is awesome. The non-existent smoke detector. It's pretty cool. Sarah is securing the lids of our food buckets. That's all of our food in those buckets and bins. Sarah's packing up all her last-minute stuff. There. And yeah. Shuttle bus is going to be here in an hour and a half, and we're going to head up to Talkeetna.
And we're going to go climbing.
Woo!
This is all about...
The ride to Talkeetna takes about 2 hours. We drove under blue skies, but we still anticipated spending the night in Talkeetna. When we arrived, Talkeetna Air Taxi promptly told us to weigh in, label our bags, and get ready to fly. 3 hours later, we were on a plane to the Ruth Gorge.
She got the hottest drag in town. That girl, she holds her head.
plane gained elevation and pointed northward, soaring over the snout of the Ruth Glacier, I felt that feeling. I hadn't felt it since being in the Himalaya 10 years ago. We were leaving the land of life behind us. Ahead of us, in the distance, was Mount Church and the gateway to the Ruth Gorge, a world of rock and ice and snow and cold. It's a land where things don't live, things don't grow, and humans aren't meant to be there. The feeling I felt is a curious mix of excitement and possibility, tinged with a sickly dread. I felt imposter syndrome hitting me as the starkness of the landscape increased. I'm not good enough to do this. I'm making a mistake. I should leave this to people who know what they're doing. It's a familiar foe. I fight with it every time I do this. There are few things in my daily life that force me to examine the naked truth of myself. Climbing and being surrounded by big mountains has always done that. I always walk out the other side of the experience more grateful of the things I have, the privilege I carry with me. Here we are. Thanks, Tat. See you in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Hello, Ruth Glacier. Bam!
I was not expecting that much prop wash.
After being dropped off by the ski plane on the glacier, we took a minute to soak in our new surroundings. And then we realized that it was almost 5 p.m. and that we still needed to move all of our gear down the glacier and set up camp in order to have shelter for the night. We quickly got into gear and started working. We had to probe the area for crevasses, dig out a large tent platform, build a snow wall, and put up our 3 tents. Right, we are on the Ruth Glacier. I'll give you a little tour around our camp. Here we've got a snow wall built. We have our 2 sleeping tents, the big red tents there. We got dropped off here at 5 p.m. yesterday. In less than 24 hours, we got ourselves established. We have, this is Sara's tent here on the left, with, I believe, Sara's feet right there. Yeah. This is my tent right here. Take inside. Say hi to Jonas, the giraffe. We come out and go down the walkway here. And here's the cook tent. We have our food laid out in buckets, bins. We have a bench here for sitting. We have our stove and cooking area right there. It's pretty chill. This took a long time to dig out. It took almost all this morning. And then, last but not least, is our lovely little, very scenic latrine with our clean mountain cans. And that's it. Our camp was in the middle of the Ruth Glacier, directly underneath the massive 5,000-foot east face of Mount Dickey. To the north, Mount Baril guarded the entrance to the gorge, and beyond lay the Ruth Amphitheater. High above us and to the northeast was the Moose's Tooth, a peak I summited in 2008. To the southeast was the long ramparts of Peak 7400 and London Tower. To our west, mountains stood at attention like alpine soldiers, protecting one of Earth's most beautiful wonders. Mount Bradley, Mount Wake, Mount Johnson, and at the end of the line, showing us her imposing north face, was Mount Church. The main route that we were aiming for on the trip was the escalator, a 4,000-foot technical mixed climb on the east face of Mount Johnson. It starts off with 3 pitches of grade 3+ ice. So there's the start of the escalator. I think we're going to take the ice line to the left. That looks the thickest, leading to a snowfield. About 1,000 feet of climbing up the snowfield ends in a bergschrund and 1 pitch over the bergschrund and into a couloir. We are getting near the top of the snowfield, but we still have the second half of the route to do. So, but we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Snowfield is probably 2 more pitches, and then we'll be at that bergschrund up there. Out there is the Ogre. Sarah's coming up. From there, the route finding is really obvious, following the couloir up to the ridge very close to the summit. The climbing on this is waterfall ice 3+ and M4, with a lot of snow in between. It took us 2 days to climb the route, and we got to the ridge. Unfortunately, the higher we went en route, the worse the snow conditions got. And by the time we hit the ridge, we were wallowing in chest-deep, unconsolidated snow. There was a storm system moving in. We didn't want to get stuck high on the summit at night in a storm. So it was pretty easy to decide to turn around and rappel the entire route. It's 5:30 in the morning, And I am standing at the base of the escalator. The ice up there. Sara is making her way up the last bit of the snow cone to the base of the route. Once she gets here, I'm going to cast off on the ice. Well, we just did 3 pitches on the escalator of pretty hard ice, like brittle and hard. And now we're at the base of the snowfield. Looking up that way. And we're sharing a belay. We are getting closer and closer to the Bergschrund and this butt. It just doesn't seem to be getting any closer. We're pretty high. We are stopping to get a brew and melt some water, melt some snow to get water. We don't melt water. Right there.
That's correct.
Okay.
You're not going to stay too
Well, we climbed as high as we could today. It's about 10 o'clock. And we are sleeping on the mountain tonight. What do you think about that, Sara?
This is crazy. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid, but whatever, it's kind of fun. Yeah, we're going to sleep here for a few hours until the sun comes up at around 3. It starts to get light, and then I'll probably be moving by then. So
Day 2.
hey. Well, the battery went dead overnight. And I didn't feel like changing the battery, so I just got to a good belay stance and I changed the battery. We are so near the top. I'm thinking 2 more pitches will put us at the top. It's been a long climb. See you later. This was the last picture taken on the climb. We started racing to get to the ridge before sunset. But the last 2 pitches turned into deep, unconsolidated snow over rock slabs. It took us over 2 hours to climb to the ridge. After climbing the escalator route, we got back to camp and slept for the better part of 24 hours. Life in camp became pretty comfortable. Between skiing and climbing, we slept, we watched shows, we did a lot of cooking.
F1 grip until you win, and then you come again. You know what time it is. Impeach the president, pulling out my ray gun. Zap the next one, I could be your shogun. Don't let the razor. I'm like a laser, I just won't phase ya. Old enough to raise ya, so this will phase ya.
We told lots of stories. We danced to our favorite music. We dug tents out of endlessly melting snow platforms. And most of all, we stared at mountains. London Tower is a mountain on the east side of the Ruth Gorge. It has a bunch of lines on its west face, but the one that interested us was a route called Freezing Nuts. It climbs a couloir about 2,400 feet long. It has snow and ice up to waterfall ice 4. We also thought the route name was great for 2 trans women to climb.
Friday night and the lights are low. Looking out for a place to go.
Pitch 2 belay, 2 pitches down, many more to go. And I got my first spin drift shower of
Anybody could be that high. Night is young and the music's high. With a bit of rock music, everything's fine. You're in the mood for a dance. And when
We are at the top of pitch 4. Doing well. Pretty consistent. We are about to have company. There's a couple of young bucks down there. They're soloing up what we're pitching out. But that's cool. I feel. The end of pitch 7, and I have to pee. Got some rock here. The 2 young bucks that passed us on pitch 5 proceeded to jump. Is what it is. Got lots of climbing in. It's fun. Sara built a bollard. This will be our 3rd bollard to rappel off of. They look pretty sketch, but so far they're holding. Pretty good. What do you think, Sara?
What's the worst that could happen?
You can fall to your death.
I mean, it's just right there.
You may not die.
Oh, we definitely can't die. Oh, we definitely can't die. Oh, we definitely can't die.
After climbing Freezy Nuts, Sara and I attempted a new route on the north face of Peak 7400. Well, it's Sunday morning, and Sara is hauling our version of the pig up this snowfield. We're gonna go try to climb a line that we scouted out yesterday while we were skiing up here. Both of us had said that we wanted to try to find something that was unknown, something that hadn't been climbed before. Climbing something that hasn't been done before is a little different than climbing a known route. You don't know how hard the route's going to be, how well it will protect, and if it has any hazards on it or not. Well, we made it to the base of the snowfield, snow cone, at the bottom of the route. We are getting our gear together, racking up, changing boots and stuff like that. And we're gonna go up there. And this is steep. It's about the size of El Cap and it's steep. Maybe a little shorter than El Cap, but it's big.
Hold it now. Oh! Come on, come on. Huh. All right, y'all. I testified, my mama cried. Black people died when the other man lied. See the TV, listen to me, double trouble. And I'm coming from the lower level. I'm taking tabs, showing up, stuff to grab like shirts and it hurts. Willing neck direct. Took a poll cause our soul took control from the education of a TV station. But look around, here go the sound of a record ball, boom and pound. When I shut them down, I shut them down. Shut them down, shut them down. I shut them down, shut them down. Shut them down, I shut them down. Shut them down, shut them down. I shut them down, shut them down. Shut them down, I shut them down. Shut them down, shut them down. I shut them down, shut them down. Shut them down, I shut them down. Shut them down, shut them down. I shut them down, shut them down. Shut them down. Come on. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What I use in a battle for the mind. Hit it hard like it's supposed. Pulling up blows to the nose like Uncle L said. I'm ripping up shows. Then what it is only 5% of the bids I'm adding woes. That's the way it goes. So you think I rank? I never drank point blank. I own loans. Suckers got me running from the bank. Civil liberty, I can't see the pay a fee. I never saw a way to pay.
Well, we put in a good effort. We did 3 short pitches to get up to the snowfield, and all 3 of them were just plastered with crusty snow over sugar snow, so it hid everything. But we had 3 pitches, like M4 and maybe 2 pitches of M3. Then we found a perfect rock horn for bailing off of, and we took it because it looked like the rest of the snow for the entire route was going to be awful. Oh, and also it was snowing. That didn't help. So Sarah's rigging up the sled to go downhill, and she's going to do that because she's a better skier than I am. And I'm gonna watch. And I'm eating chocolate. That's what I'm doing right now.
Then become a victim of a lawyer. Don't know you never saw a tape cued. Getting me sued, playing games with my head. What the judge said, put me in the red. Got me thinking about a trigger to the lead. No, my educated mind says suckers gonna pay anyway. They're gonna be a day. They won't be in the pussy.
That was pretty rad! 5 minutes after leaving, a cornice collapsed and caused an avalanche that swept the glacier we had just skied down. It wasn't exactly where we were climbing, but not far off.
Hold it!
I do my makeup in somebody else's car. We order different
It's too nice
drinks
out
at
not to
the
do anything,
same
so we're gonna
bar.
go for a ski.
I know about what you did and I wanna scream the truth.
And we're gonna ski into this
She thinks
bowl
you love
here.
the beach, you're such a damn liar. Well, those great whites, they have big teeth. Oh, they bite you. Thought you said that you would always be in love, but you're not in love no more. Did it frighten you how we kissed when we danced on the light of floor, on the light of floor? But I hear sounds in my mind, brand new sounds in my mind.
Sara has ripped her skins off of her skis for the first time. She is now officially dangerous. Show us how it's done.
Sometimes I wake
there.
up in a different bedroom.
This morning, Sara and I are heading up
I whisper things the city seems to
747
back
pass.
to you.
This is the valley. We're gonna ski up.
Well, those rumors, they have big teeth. Oh, they bite you. Thought you said that you would always be in love, but you're not in love no more. Did it frighten you how we kissed when we danced on the light of floor, on the light of floor? But I hear sounds in my mind, brand new sounds in my mind. But honey, I'll be seeing you ever I go. But honey, I'll be seeing you down every road. I'm waiting for it, that green light. 'Cause honey, I'll come get my things, but I can't let go. I'm waiting for it, that green light. Oh honey, I'll come get my things, but I can't let go. I'm waiting for it, that green light. Yeah, honey, I'll come get my things, but I can't let go. I'm waiting for it, that green light. Oh, I wish I could get my things and just let go. I'm waiting for it, that green light. I want it. I'm waiting for it, that green light. I want it. I'm waiting for it, that green light. I want it. I'm waiting for it, that green light. I want it. I'm waiting for it, that green light. I want it. I'm waiting for it, that green light. I want it. I'm waiting for it, that green light. I want it.
Hey, we survived! I'll leave you with some of the images that left an impression on me. Small moments and memories that will stay with me for the rest of my days. Whether it's a silhouette of my partner framed against the awesome exposure, a frosted mountain face seen from the door of my tent as I wake up, or the slow settling of snow on a random boulder left alone. They keep me wanting more. They keep me wanting to come back. Sunat and Kara McNeil disappeared during a lightweight and fast attempt on the Infinite Spur on Sultana, or Mount Foraker, in 2006. At a point in time when women's alpine achievements were not generally appreciated or acknowledged. They quietly crushed big, technical alpine routes and showed a generation of climbers that women can achieve big things in the mountains. They were the first women to show me that I didn't have to give up my dreams in order to be the person I knew I always was. Climb on, ladies, and thank you.